River Ganga's story of drought stretched 1,000 years. What if I told you that right now is this river's worst chapter yet? What if the next revolution in green transport began not with batteries but with a single converter? What if the sea's gentlest mammals were quietly absorbing our pollution? And what if elephants made decisions the way we do by thinking, feeling, and remembering? This is This Week in India's Science. I'm Subhra Priyadarshini, and today we follow the flow of power, water, and wisdom from the grid to the river, from the sea to the forest. Fast charging of electric vehicles usually demands heavy transformers and complex battery banks. Bulky, expensive, and energy hungry. But engineers at the Indian Institute of Science, Bengaluru, working with Delta Electronics India, have designed something new, a cascaded H-bridge multi-port DC converter that connects straight to the medium voltage grid. Led by Kaushik Basu at Indian Institute of Science's Department of Electrical Engineering, the team built a 1.2 kilowatt prototype that converts AC to DC power at more than 95% efficiency. At a megawatt scale, this could mean huge energy savings and smaller, cheaper charging stations. The design eliminates bulky transformers, shares power intelligently across ports, and could even feed electricity back to hospitals or shelters during emergencies. If scaled, it could make fast charging hubs smaller, smarter, and far more sustainable. Read about this story in Nature India this week. Ganga is one of India's most sacred rivers, and it is in unprecedented crisis. Scientists from the Indian Institute of Technology, Gandhinagar, and the University of Arizona have reconstructed 1300 years of stream flow history of this river. Their verdict: the period from 1991 to 2020 marks the Ganga's worst dry spell in recorded history. Climate scientists at IIT Gandhinagar used tree ring data, hydrological models, and historical famine records to trace monsoon shifts. They found that since 1991, average stream flow has dropped by about 620 cubic meters per second, the equivalent of 16 Olympic sized swimming pools every hour. The reasons: weakening monsoons from Indian Ocean warming, aerosol pollution, and relentless groundwater pumping.
While past droughts were within the range of natural climate variability, the recent drying appears to push this natural range, indicating a shift towards human influence conditions.
That was Dipesh Singh Chopal, a PhD scholar at IIT Gandhinagar. If left unchecked, the drying Ganga could threaten food security for more than 100 million people, turning the basin's fertile plains into a new epicenter of water stress. Read a report on this on Nature India this week. Now, along the Bark Bay Gulf of Mannar coast of Tamil Nadu, the gentle dugong, also called the sea cow of Indian waters, faces a toxic threat. Between 2018 and 2023, researchers from the Wildlife Institute of India, Dehradun, led by Jairaj Anthony Johnson, examined tissues from 46 stranded dugongs. If you want to see pictures of how dugongs look like, get on to Nature India. They found arsenic in the skin and heart, cadmium and mercury in the liver and kidneys, and chromium in their blubber. A toxic cocktail leaching from coastal runoff into the seagrass meadows that dugongs graze on. Older animals carried the heaviest loads, and even unborn calves showed traces of mercury, evidence of poisons passed across generations. The dugong is the ocean's gentle gardener, but the gardener itself is turning toxic. Chronic exposure to these metals can damage organs, suppress immunity, and reduce fertility, a silent erosion of a species already endangered. what goes on inside an elephant's mind when it faces an uncertain choice. New behavioral and neurological research shows that Asian elephants use memory, emotion, and experience to guide their decisions in ways very strikingly similar to humans. At the University of Hong Kong, psychologist Sagarika Phalke devised an experiment in Nepal's Tiger Tops camp. Elephants learned that a black box hid a banana and a white one did not. Then Falke added grey, ambiguous boxes and found that the animals most often approached the shade closest to the positive cue, even without a reward. They were guided by optimism born out of memory.
So, the interplay of mood, emotion, and intelligence in elephants is like a finely tuned orchestra where each influences and amplifies the other.
That was Sagarika Falke. At a conference in Kolkata, neuroscientist Michael Brecht of the Humboldt University of Berlin also reported that Asian elephants have a 20% heavier brain and denser gray matter than their African cousins. These are regions tied to emotion and decision making. Wildlife biologist Nishant Srinivasaya, who studies herds in the Western Ghats, says young elephants learn social rules by watching their elders. This is knowledge essential for survival in fast changing landscapes. Recognizing elephants as emotional decision makers could transform how we design conservation and captivity, treating them not just as icons of memory but as minds in motion. Read a conference report by Sahana Ghosh on Nature India this week. From droughts that rewrite climate history to machines that rewrite how we change our cars, from poisoned seas to thinking giants, today's stories remind us that the frontiers of science are never far from the frontiers of empathy. I'm Subhra Priyadarshini, and this is This Week in India's Science. Follow us for more stories at Nature India. See you next time.